Welcome to the new audio podcast with Thomas Gelmi. Take off now and boost your efficiency in leadership, teamwork, and customer contact. Today's topic is self-knowledge.
Have you ever asked yourself whether what you do professionally is really what you should be doing? Whether what you do is really what makes you feel alive and what brings out your passion and what also brings out the best in you and the potentials and the qualifications and competencies that you have? Well, many people that approach me for coaching are driven by this kind of question. They are very often more or less in the middle of their professional life, somewhere between 30 and 45 years, when they ask themselves, how did I get here? Is this really the way I should be following for the rest of my professional life? Or did I just somehow end up here and I should actually be doing something completely different? Well, this is a question, or these are questions that I have been asking myself many times, because my own biography looks like a colorful bunch of flowers. Today, I work as an executive coach. I support leaders worldwide in their development. But this is, of course, not what I have always done. I started earning my first money cutting hair. Well, in retrospect, I could say that what I actually really did was listening. And besides listening, I also cut people's hair. After that, I thought, well, probably not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so I embarked on a journey. I embarked on a personal expedition into what is the right thing for me to do. On the way, I ended up working for a circus for 1.5 years. After that, I tried a few other things and ended up with Swissair, the former Swiss national airline, where I led cabin crew on international flights. And I learned a lot about human beings and what works when human beings interact and what doesn't. A very fruitful period in my life. Until 2001, when Swissair was grounded and the whole fleet was on the ground. It was the end of a legacy carrier. And for me, an opportunity to close one chapter and open a new one. So I applied with a small consultancy company in Zurich, specializing in leadership development in sales. And for the next 8 years, I developed in many ways because I had the opportunity to grow. Until 7 years ago, I started my own business as a coach and facilitator. And it's just another milestone on my journey. I have no idea what I will be doing in 5 years from now or in 10 years from now. But as I said, it's a journey. And I have the big privilege to be doing what I love and what I'm apparently also good at. And to get up every morning and go out into the world and do what I love doing and where my passion goes. And my personal opinion is that everybody should have this privilege. Everybody should be given at least the opportunity to find their own potential, their core qualities and core competencies, and to find ways to bring them out, to express them in the best possible way, and ideally contribute to a higher good, to an organization, to a team, to a higher purpose. Now, how can you achieve that? You see, for many people, it's not so clear what their core competencies and their core qualities really are. Many people are not really aware of their true strength and of their potential and of the value and the contribution they can offer. Why is that? Well, it has a lot to do with the fact that we develop most of our competencies, most of what we're able to do, not in a formal way, not in a formal setting, not at school, in trainings, seminars, or other development processes, but by simply getting up in the morning, going out of the house, and solving problems. That's how we develop up to 70% of our competencies. Now, who sits down once a week or once a month or once a quarter, looks back and asks themselves, what competencies have I developed over the last few weeks or months? Nobody does that because nobody shows us how to do that and how valuable these kind of questions could be. So, in order to become more aware of your own core qualities and core competencies, it can make sense to follow a very simple 3-step process. 3 steps that are 3 main questions. The first, looking back on your own biography, asking yourself, who am I? Know yourself was an inscript above the entrance to the Apollo temple in Delphi. So the old Greeks already knew about the importance of knowing oneself. So the first question looks back, asking, who am I? The second question sheds light on the current status. Who am I? Who have I become due to my biography? And the third question is pointing towards the future, asking, where do I want to go with what I have now learned about myself? So for the first question, it's a good idea to take a moment, sit down, and just make a list of all your achievements, of all your successes. List them one after the other, and not just in your professional life, but in your life as a whole. Of course, there are obvious successes, obvious achievements, but there may also be situations that you would not intuitively consider a success. Even in these situations, competencies and qualities can become visible. So list everything that has the slightest color of achievement or success. In the next step, what you can do is you take out one of these achievements and you analyze it. You zoom into the achievement, asking 3 questions. Number 1, what was the situation or the challenge? Number 2, what did I do to solve it? What was my personal contribution? Number 3, what was the result achieved? What have I achieved? And if you have done that, once you have done that, you can look at the whole description of this achievement and ask yourself, what are the qualities and competencies that become visible? If I was able to do this like that, what am I apparently able to do? What are my abilities? And the more you do that, the more you become aware of your core qualities and your core competencies. The ones that pop up all the time are the ones that really make you unique, make you a unique contributor to any organization or to society as a whole. And the nice thing is that with the increasing awareness about what makes you unique, the question, where do I want to go with that, usually becomes more clear as well. And the questions along the line, or the questions around the ideal future, should include questions like, what do I like doing and what do I dislike? What is the ideal environment I need in order to blossom, in order to really bring out my whole potential? And you can really take the analogy of a flower in a garden. What does it take for the flower to blossom? It takes the right environment, the right ground, temperature, light, amount of water, etc. So look for the ideal conditions by making yourself aware of what you really need to bring out your potential. And to end this impulse, I would like to quote Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, a French poet and aviation pioneer or pilot, who also wrote The Little Prince, a famous children's book. He said, "Perfection is not achieved when nothing can be added anymore. Instead, perfection is achieved when nothing can be taken away anymore." And this is so true with this kind of development process, because for many people, the question is not what they need to add or further develop in terms of capabilities and competencies and skills, but to, more than anything, have a look at what's already there and become aware of what's already there in terms of potential and competencies and qualities, and to remove the debris and the dust that covers the view on what's already there, the conditionings, the old hindering beliefs that may hinder you, that may keep you from becoming even more successful. And an image that may bring it to the point is the image of a snake getting rid of the old skin. At some point, the old skin may become too tight and it needs to break open, and the snake needs to get rid of it. So get rid of what keeps you from seeing your own potential, and get rid of what keeps you from moving into your own next level of development. My wish for you is that this impulse will help you increase your personal effectiveness. Yours, Thomas Gelmi.